Cindy comes to my bridal shower. I remember I was getting my makeup done and I see this perky girl coming with a cup of coffee in her hand, polka dot shirt, black shoes, highest ponytail, like Ariana Grande style. And she's also perky and she comes with this tiny little camera, this tiny little lens. And my first thought was like, okay, I did not ask enough questions about this.
Hey guys, today we are joined by my friend Belen del Toro. She's rocking it on YouTube and Instagram. She's sharing how she took an incredibly hard time and as an opportunity to grow and learn to put herself first and her dreams first.
Oh my goodness, that is such a sweet introduction. Should I start crying? No. Deep breaths.
All right, I want to share a little bit about how I met Belen. So, wedding photographer, get your notebook out and write this down, okay? Yeah. Well, wait, because I'm going to share the story first. Okay, so Belen actually was reaching out on a bride-to-bride page, and that's a group on Facebook, okay? Mm-hmm. And so she went on there, and she was looking for a photographer for her wedding shower. Okay. So she wasn't looking for a photographer for her wedding. She was looking for her wedding shower. Yes. So
I'm that kind of person. I need pictures of absolutely everything. And I think that now you know that I need a picture of absolutely everything.
And that's okay. And us as photographers, we love that. We love people like you.
Yeah.
We love people like Belen.
Am I not just like, oh my gosh, this one again? How do I shush her away?
Well, I remember, I wish I had your post, but I do remember that you just posted like, is anybody available? I'm looking for someone to do my bridal shower. And I think you posted something about like maybe 4 hours or something like that, you know?
Yeah.
So it said that. And if you guys aren't a part of like a Facebook group that, you know, is a bride to bride, you technically shouldn't be on it if you're not a bride because it's technically supposed to be like other brides helping other brides.
Correct.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So at the time I was also a bride to be, you know, so I was engaged with my husband or my now husband, Josiah. And so that's why I got on this page. Yeah. So photographers don't just go flooding these pages now because there are some people who do that, by the way.
They do. There are so many vendors actually there now that, I mean, I exited the group after everything, but they were a lot of just vendors to the point that the admins had to make it like, okay, vendors post only on Tuesdays so that they wouldn't overflow the post with, you know, services.
Exactly.
When, as you said, like the group is meant to be like a bride to bride, like, hey, I did this. This is how I helped. This is who I used. This is how it worked.
This is my review of them.
Exactly.
Like, this is
rather than you promoting your services.
Exactly.
There.
Yeah. So that's kind of what I want to speak to a little bit right now is the fact that in that moment, I went to that like post, you know, and it was just flooded like with tons of photographers.
So
I think you posted it and I think like not even 2 minutes later and there was like at least 15 comments, if not more.
Yeah.
You know,
I got extremely overwhelmed. I was just like, okay, I thought that I was going to get posts like recommendations and it was just everybody throwing me their information.
So that's really what I want to. Okay, guys, like if you see someone on your Facebook, it doesn't necessarily have to be on a Facebook group. Okay. If you see someone on Facebook or even Instagram asking like, hey, does anybody know of a wedding photographer? You know, like I think for some reason we think that we have to all of a sudden like respond with like, hey, I'd be so glad to help you be, you know, or have the best photos on your wedding day, or I would be honored to be your wedding photographer. And I mean, if you're doing that, you know, you do you, boo. But the thing is that like as a bride, you get a lot of the same kind of messages. Yeah. And so what I do, here's my quick tip. Okay. I ask a question.
Yep.
I don't come in there and say like, hey, I'm available, pick me.
Yep.
You know, and or I don't say like, oh, here's my pricing, pick me, because that's what it comes off of.
It does.
As, you know,
you're right.
And then so Belen, whenever she posted like, hey, is anybody available? Do you remember what I asked?
Are you still in need of a photographer? Yeah, that was exactly what you said. And I was like, actually, yeah, I am, because everybody was just, you know, and to be honest, now you know me, I have the style of photography that I like in my head. Yeah. And they all threw so much information at me that most of them I didn't even look.
Exactly.
So whenever we started talking first, I feel like that was a huge help because it helped me get to know you and then your style. So I was like, okay, so these may work. Because especially whenever you are in a wedding or trying to capture these moments that, as I always tell you, pictures are memories that you get to keep on forever and feelings that you get to relive every time that you see a picture.
Yeah.
So you want them to be captured by somebody that it's kind of like you, that shares the same likes, that laughs at your jokes, because otherwise it's just plain awkward. I mean, I don't know. So definitely the fact that you came with a question first, it helped.
Well, yeah. So
set
so
you
guys,
aside.
like, and then obviously don't just like ask like, you know, what's your favorite peanut butter and jelly sandwich?
Yeah.
You know, bread or,
Yeah.
you know, like obviously something that pertains to whatever it is that they're asking. So
Yeah.
it's really, you have to get good at like actually reading the question and then looking at those comments and seeing everybody else just kind of bombarding them with information.
Yeah.
And then go in there and be like, hey, like what I did was just like, did you find someone?
Yeah.
That simple question already like makes me stand out.
Yep.
You know, because everyone else is just like giving you tons of information.
And I feel like not only that, but what I think helped get to know you, because it wasn't like, sorry. Whenever you asked, are you in need of a photographer? And I said yes. It wasn't that you were like, okay, here I am, you know. It was like, what kind of photographer are you looking for? What kind of style do you like? How do you envision your pictures to come through? So after we talked for like a good 10 minutes about what was my idea, what were my goals, and what did I have in mind, is that you were like, okay, well, this is my style. Let me show you some pictures of my gallery and blah, 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 you know. This is what I'm
And then at the end, we were like, here's my pricing.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's how we met, right, guys? So we met, you know, on Facebook when she posted like, hey, is anyone available this date? And then, of course, I kid you not, there was probably at the end of the day, maybe 100 comments at least.
Probably, yeah.
Maybe more. And it happens. It still happens now, you know?
Yeah.
And I see it and it's just kind of like a free for all, you know? And then so I would recommend just having a question that pertains to whatever that person is talking about. So if they are talking about their wedding, you know, and saying that they need 6 hours and this is their budget, you know what I mean? And it's just like, okay, well, do you know what style of photography you would prefer? Ask that question.
Yeah.
Because sometimes they don't like,
they're not even your style.
Yeah. Sometimes brides don't even know what style they prefer actually. And it's like, I personally am like documentary style, you know, with that, you know, fine art, because I do both. I try to blend them, but some people are solely fine art and some people are solely, you know, documentary. And so we can go into that for, you know, an entire other podcast. But the thing is that, you know, just ask a question, you know, and then make yourself stand out. And even like whenever someone is posting on Instagram, same thing, like ask them a question, you know, and then like, and if they don't book, like, can you help them find somebody else?
Yep.
You know,
that is more their style.
That is more their style, or that's even more within their budget.
That's true. Yep, definitely.
You know, and then now you just became a resource for that person, and they may find, you know, they may love your style and they may love you, but the thing is that you weren't in their budget, and that's totally okay too.
Yep.
But you know what? Like, they have other friends that they're probably going to recommend you to.
Definitely.
And they're probably going to be like, oh my God, like this photographer was incredible. Like they, you know, they're super amazing and I love their style, but you know, they were a little bit more expensive. But then their other friends may get married or get engaged, and you will probably come to mind.
Yeah, of course, definitely. And once they see, you know, your work, I mean, with us, it has happened so many times that, you know, I've told them, I was like, I mean, this is the girl that takes my pictures, because now Cindy takes every single one of my pictures. I mean, she's been there for everything. And when I say everything, I mean everything, because as I said before, I take pictures of everything. And so many times, whenever somebody asks me like, when, I mean, who takes your pictures? It just goes right to Cindy. Even whenever it's gotten to the point that I've told you, like, you know, every person that is in the creative industry, I feel like, just like you, prices go up. Go up, and because you get, and I told you this a million times, you get better with time. Like you have polish. Like the pictures that you took on my bridal shower compared to the ones that you just took yesterday of my daughter's birthday, they are so much better. Like in so many little things.
You weren't that great to begin with.
No, I'm not even.
I'm just messing with you.
Because, okay, so Cindy comes to my bridal shower. I remember I was getting my makeup done, and I see this perky girl coming with a cup of coffee in her hand, polka dot shirt, black shoes, highest ponytail, like Ariana Grande style. And she's also perky. And she comes with this tiny little camera, this tiny little lens. And my first thought was like, okay, I did not ask enough questions about this. And this is a shower. Like, I love to plan events. I love to like go all out on all of this. And I wanted every single one of those details like captured. And my thought was like, well, there goes nothing. I mean, let's hope she gets some good shots at this point, and that's it. And it was funny because even at the point I was getting ready and Cindy's like, oh, you look so pretty. How about we do a mini little like portrait session with your fiance? And she puts me like on the backyard of my sister's house, which it was. Okay, this is a backyard that is like full of cement. Like, house wasn't even finished yet.
Yeah.
No grass, no nothing. Like, it was just, so I'm like, okay, well, let's just take pictures at the end of the day, and let's just hope. I swear those were one of my favorite pictures. They were so natural. They were so candid. They were so perfect. And I remember seeing the gallery, the flowers, the little details, the laughs, even the hugs that my family were giving me as they walked in. You capture all of that.
Thank you.
So, it was just amazing how I was just not expecting it. And even though that was, great, it was great photography and everything. Every time I get a gallery from you, I'm like, this is why she's worth it. Like, this is what she charges, And it's to the little details. I mean, you guys, I had family portraits done with my entire family. We're a family of 6, just a mom and siblings. Add up the husband's, wife's, children, and all of this on February. Cindy added a broken nail on my mom's finger.
Oh my God. I mean, you didn't have to tell people that.
I hadn't noticed that when mom was hugging my dad, you could see that her nail had been broken. I didn't notice it. And to be honest, who would have? Cindy does. and she sends me a picture because now we're friends. We talk every day. Yeah. We talk about our kids. We talk about everything. And she sends me the picture of the before, my mom's broken nail, and then the after of how she fixed it. And and then it makes you think like, okay, well, this is how much she charges. So even when I want Cindy to take my daily pictures, if I cannot afford them, I know many friends that can. And whenever, like, for example, the jewelry brand that you were asked about, we told them, we're like, we wish we could afford her for our shoots for the boutique and whatnot, but here she is. Yeah. And that goes back to what you were saying. You
they never know.
Exactly. They may not be able to afford you, but some other people may. And a good photographer will always come to mind whenever, like, and let's face it, like, this business is also like a lot of word of mouth.
Oh yeah, for sure. And that's why I'm saying like, it's important to just stand out.
Yeah, exactly.
And so if you are someone who is just sharing your link and your pricing in those comments, you're not standing out. I'm sorry. That's the truth. You're not standing out. And even in the beginning, I remember like just seeing all of that. And so what I did in the very beginning, before I started asking a question, I actually would just literally post a photo, and then post like, do you like this photo? Or like, is this your style? You know what I mean? So I'd post a photo so they wouldn't even have to go to my website to see my work. I would already have like a couple of photos that I had on hand. Okay. And then so I would just share them in the comments and be like, this is one of my photos. Does this fit your style? So again, just always trying to stand out just somehow.
And because as you said, like, there are so many people that they see a picture and they're like, oh, I like that, but they don't even know the style that it's coming from, and I mean, obviously being a photographer's podcast, they know like there are so many styles. Like, I see yours and I see another one's and it's like night and day. Does that mean hers is bad? No, it's not. It's just not what I prefer. But obviously there's so many brides that do because she gets booked. So
the other thing was that, like, okay, so going back to our story. So we meet and everything. I think it's hilarious. I was shooting, actually, I don't think I was shooting with the Rebel at the time. I think I was already shooting with another camera. I don't remember which one it was, but it was just a 50. Yeah. Okay. So photographers, the nifty-fifty is my favorite lens, right? So I've always just kind of graduated from 50 to 50 to 50. Yeah. If you know what I'm talking about, you understand. It's like, okay, you go from you start with the like $100 50 nifty-fifty, that's like 1.8, and then you go to the 1.4 and then you go to the 1.2. And I may have butchered that, but that's what I'm saying. Like, that's me. I graduate from 50 to 50 to 50.
Okay. I mean, to me that, I mean, I love pictures, but I don't know cameras. So
it's okay.
Yeah.
But I do remember, Carol telling me, she was just like, oh my God, like I looked at your camera and I thought like, oh, I hope this girl has good
Yes.
photos, because
Yeah.
so Carol and Belen are both vloggers and bloggers.
Yes.
And now podcasts.
Yeah. Well, I am doing podcasts.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Belen's doing podcasts.
Yeah.
So yeah, they know everything social media really.
Yeah.
And they've been a part of this scene for quite some time actually. And
Yes.
so we're about to get to that. But I kind of want to hear, or I want you guys to hear about Belen's story because I didn't know this either.
Yeah.
And then to preface that, actually I wasn't Belen's wedding photographer at the time whenever I did her wedding shower.
Yeah.
But then something happened with her previous wedding photographer that she called me.
Yeah.
I think it was a week
before the wedding.
a week before her wedding.
Yeah.
And then she literally, so I remember being at a coffee shop and I get this phone call from Belen and she's just
Freaking
like,
out.
are you available for my wedding? And I was like, what? And her wedding is literally a week away.
Yeah.
And I look at my calendar on my phone and I'm like, yeah, I'm available. And she's just like, oh my God. And then, would you like to share?
Yeah. Yeah. So we had already booked the wedding photographer. We had already even taken the engagement pictures because as everybody, it was a package, the wedding pictures, the engagement pictures and all of this. I didn't hate them, but I didn't love them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I wanted somebody else to shoot my shower. I didn't want to hire him, but we had already paid him like half of the deposit and whatnot. We go take our bridal pictures and again, like I, dressed up head to toe, paid extra makeup and all of this. My pictures come back and this is a specific picture. So I'm wearing my veil, which was a cathedral long veil. And to begin with, I hired him. And as you all know, every photographer has a different style. Like each photographer captures stuff different. They have a different eye, a different vision. I hired him because I liked how he took pictures.
Yeah.
I get to my bridal photo shoot and it's another girl. Somebody that I had never even heard of. Mm-hmm. Somebody like, I was like, who are you?
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, whoever sent me because he's not going to be able to shoot. First of all, I was just like, okay, why didn't he tell me this? Like, it would have been just a message, like, hey, I'm available. I'm going to send my assistant or whatever it is. So I was already not happy with it. But okay, this girl's just shooting. She's nice enough. She's getting the shots, whatnot. But then there is this picture that I wanted of my veil flowing in the back. And I tell her, I was like, I actually want this shot. And she's like, perfect. We're going to need a stick so that you can like wing the veil. And I'll just, take care of it. And I was like, okay, sounds good. Pictures come back edited, not even like a week later. Mm-hmm. And I can see that all she did was unload the pictures into her camera, put a filter on it and send it. To the point that the picture of the veil that I'm telling you guys had the stick on it. Like you could see the stick. And I remember sending you the picture like, this is it. So obviously I'm freaking out. And I'm like, you're fired. I don't want you taking my wedding pictures after this because I was thinking like, what is like if he didn't take a stick, like such a simple editing thing, like taking out the stick out of the veil, like come on, like it's
you could crop it out or clone it out. Anything.
Like you can do anything. Like it's a simple fix for a photographer, right? And another thing is he wasn't cheap either to say like, that's what I get for being on a budget. No. Like I was paying top dollar for the service. So I fire him. And of course we have like this battle that he's like, I'm not going to give you your money back and you owe me this much. And the problem was that I had paid cash. Mm-hmm. And he had told me that if I paid cash, I was going to get like a discount or whatnot. So I paid cash. So after I saw these pictures, I was like, you're fired and whatnot. It was an awful experience. And it was a week before my wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's whenever I was like, you know what? I lose it. Like, I don't care at this point. Cindy, like, are you available? And then Cindy took the most amazing pictures. I mean, to the point that the place where I got married it still uses your picture for their promotions. Yeah. And after that, Cindy got so many weddings at the same venue just because people saw the pictures that you took of my wedding and they were like, she knows the venue. She takes these pictures.
Exactly.
Like it was awesome. And at the end of the day, I loved my pictures.
Yeah. And so, I mean, that definitely opened up a ton of venues for me too. It was incredible, And so again, it all went back to standing out on that Facebook post.
Yeah.
That simple comment.
Mm-hmm.
So you saw it was a question, and then so with that question, it created a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So guys, create that conversation between you and a potential bride.
Mm-hmm.
When you receive an email, are you asking questions or are you just giving them information? Are you ending that email with like, okay, like what, is there anything else, or, what are you thinking? Just something that just demands a response.
Yeah.
And then and
something that makes you feel like they care about you, because you don't want to be treated just like as a quantity, just like another client, just like more money. Like you want to, especially for, again, like I just have this idea of pictures and photographers and whatnot that, they are capturing moments. They are capturing the most special moments in your life. So you don't want to be just another quantity sign. Like you want to be somebody that you're cared for. You're going to be somebody that you're listened to. And I sometimes do feel bad because I am way too picky. But not one moment have you made me feel like, oh, she's just too much. It's like, okay, well, let me work on this. Give me some time. Or can we work this out this way? It's never like, I've never felt like you've treated me just like, okay, well, she's paying me, so I have to. It's just like, okay, I care what your voice is. I want you to understand my point of view as well. But, I care about what you think and what you expect from my work.
Exactly. So it's like having that clear communication from the very beginning is just imperative.
Yeah.
And so definitely. And then so I shot her wedding. So we covered her wedding. That was incredible. It was amazing.
And the rehearsal dinner.
Oh yeah. And the rehearsal dinner because Belen needs photos of absolutely everything. I swear if she was allowed to come and take me on her honeymoon, she would have.
I would have.
Yeah.
Probably.
I'm sure she would have. But anyway, and I think people do that now. They do day after, wedding.
I wanted to take you to Napa, remember? I wanted to take you to my bachelorette because I was just like...
She wanted photos of her bachelorette, yes. And so, Belen is incredible. Yeah. And so the thing is, you guys, just remember, stand out.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Right?
Find a way to stand out. Find a way to make yourself different from the crowd.
And then the big thing is that you can walk away with an incredible friendship after that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
It doesn't necessarily just have to be this client that you got hired for and then you just walk away after that you deliver their photos.
Yep.
What happens after that? Are you following up with them? Like, hey, is there anything else that I can do for you?
Yep.
Like, I'm here.
Yep. Definitely. Yep.
And then so are you guys doing that?
Yep.
Or are you just like completing the wedding, delivering the photos and then disappearing?
Bye-bye.
What I did with Belen is that I met with her to deliver her photos.
Yes.
And we went to Black Walnut.
Yes.
And we had coffee together and we talked and I actually printed some photos for her. I think it was like 10 photos. And I printed them, put them in a cute little box with a little bit with champagne, and delivered them to her.
It was so thoughtful. I loved those pictures. Yeah, it was a very nice touch. And then again, like it was that what made me think about you every single time that I wanted pictures taken. It was the fact that you cared so much. And it was like, I would get a message from Cindy just like, hey, how's it going? Like just like that. Like it was not picture related. It was not work related. It was just like a checking in. It's just like, hey, all good? How's it going? Like I saw that in Instagram. You're here. Looks good. It was just, definitely.
And so, but I do want you guys to get to know who Belen is beyond, the photography obsessed bride.
Yeah, that's definitely
because she's incredible. So at her wedding, during her speeches, that's whenever I actually got to see more of who she was. And I literally started crying, because her sister started sharing their story of how they came here to the United States. Because
you didn't know until then?
No.
Oh, wow.
I was only ever hired to take photos of you.
Didn't know it was that long, but okay.
So, we met a month before your wedding.
We did, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And then so Belen's about to cry. I know this is really hard. It's not hard because we're talking about happy moments. It's just a completely different life that Belen used to have. And we'll talk about that in a little bit.
Yeah.
But I do want you guys to listen about how Belen really was ultimately the one that brought kind of her family over to the United States. So Belen's from Ecuador.
I am. Yes. I was born in Ecuador, in Quito, the capital. And we had always traveled to the US. My parents were good. We were blessed. They had a good job and good. They had done good for themselves back home. So we were one of the few able to come often here. And my cousin, actually, my aunt, my dad's sister, lives here in Houston. Mm-hmm. And one of the trips we came and she was in college.
How old were you? I
had to be 14, 15 years old.
Okay.
And we went to College Station, and she was in college. She was at Texas A&M. And I just remember seeing the university, seeing how the town was all about the school, how, Aggie pride and whatnot. I came back home and I was like, I'm going to Texas A&M. And of course, my dad at the point, he was just like, sure, little girl, like let's get you graduated in high school. But I got to senior year in Ecuador. So I was a junior in Ecuador and about to, start applying. And dad came to me. He's like, okay, so what colleges are you thinking about applying? What are you going to do? I was like, I'm going to the States. Like, I'm not staying here. And I think he saw that I meant it. Yeah. And he was like, okay, then we have to figure this out. So in 2006, dad came to the rodeo, which they always came because they had cattle. So they will be part of the rodeo. And he came on that. So it was not a surprise for me. I mean, I was just like, okay, just daddy went to the rodeo. That's fine. So he came February, March to Houston. He came back home and he was like, we're moving to the States.
Really?
He had
so cool.
He had found a way to, make his investment visa work and moved us all. And in 3 months, they sold everything they had, everything that they've ever worked for. And we got on a plane in July and we came here and we started from zero.
Wow.
And
all because Belen wanted to be an Aggie.
All because I wanted to be an Aggie. So while dad came here, somebody had told him that it will be cheaper if I graduated from a Texas high school so that, I could pay in-state tuition. What they failed to tell him was that doesn't work unless you're a resident. Oh. So because we were all in visas, we still ended up paying like international student fees, but we didn't know that. We got here. I went my last year of high school here in the States. I learned to speak English because I didn't know any English.
What? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I thought that.
Your English is amazing.
I thought I spoke English. I mean, I was like, I went to a private school, a bilingual school. I know how to speak English. I get here and I'm like, holy crap, I don't know how to speak English. Like, I don't understand a word these people are saying. Like, I remember the first day in class, I go in class, I don't understand anything. Carol finds me in the hallway and she's like, how's it going? I'm like, horrible. The only word this guy kept saying was supplies. I don't know what she's like, did you write it down? I'm like, no. She's like, that's what you need for the class. Go back and write it down. And I was just like, oh my
I can see Carol doing all that.
she was just like, she was like, why don't you do that? Whatever. So yeah, we basically learned. Funny story also. So we get there. Obviously, we don't speak English. And my counselor is like, okay, well, you have to go to ESL classes because you don't speak English. And you have to take your, Texas State courses like to and all of this. What were they called? TSATs? What was it? No, not SATs. Well, the Texas. No. It was the college? Texas standardized, whatever. It was a Texas test. I don't even remember that now. And they were like, you have to go there because you don't speak the language. How are you going to graduate? You need to pass those exams in order to graduate. So I'm like, yeah, sure. Why not? We get home and I'm like, Mom, you have to sign this thing that, it says that we have to be on ESL classes. Mom was like, no, you're not. Why? They're going to put you in a class with people who speak all the Spanish so that you don't ever learn English? No. So she goes to the school and she tells the principal that she wants us pulled out of ESL classes. And the principal tells her, your kids don't speak English. Like, how do you expect them to pass classes when they don't understand the language? And I was like, they'll figure it out. So they pulled us out as ESL classes. I wanted to cry every single time that I came home because it was just not a fun time. People didn't like, so it was a very divided school. It was you were either African American or you were either white. So us being on the middle, not being either, we got crap from both sides. Aww. It was awful. Like I really hated it to the point that we had to move schools. Like after I graduated, my siblings moved to schools because it was that bad.
Wow.
But so I hated it. But a part of me was like, okay, we're here because of you. So you just got to pull through and make it work. So Mom was right. I mean, forced. We learned English. I passed all my classes. I didn't pass the first time my English one, obviously. I took it second time. I passed. And yeah, so at the end of the day, I graduated. I graduated high school. I got into Texas A&M. My siblings went to A&M.
Like, I love how you're just like, oh yeah, we got into A&M. Like, yeah, it's just like, it's fine,
And it's funny because so I wanted to go to A&M, but I didn't know what I want to study. After what I went through in high school, I was like, okay, obviously I cannot, because Back home, I was gonna do international rights, which was gonna get me into politics, which is what my dad was in and what I wanted to do too. And everybody told me, I was like, Belen, you're gonna end up being president of the country at one point. And I was just like,
dang.
and that was my goal. Like that was
Wow.
my goal in life. I was like, I'm gonna study rights, I'm gonna study law, and I'm gonna become the first woman president of Ecuador. You know, and
What?
that was what I was working towards. Then I
love
get here. And I'm like, okay, I cannot do anything with talking because I mean, I don't even speak it. So I was just like, I remember so clear. We're in the office, I'm applying to school, and mom is like, oh, look, petroleum engineering, that sounds fun. And I was like, not really. And mom is like, well, you know, like in Ecuador, we also have oil and gas is everywhere. We are in Houston. And I remember telling mom, I was like, Mom, A&M is like the top school for petroleum engineering. Like, there's no way I can get in. Like that's just gonna happen. And mom is like, well, think about it. I go to bed and I think, and I'm like, well, you know, here and in China, 2 + 2 is 4. So one good thing is that math is good, like it's the same anywhere. So as long as I understand the procedure, maybe I don't need the language as much. So I was like, sure, I'll do engineering. So I applied for petroleum engineering first and chemical engineering second. And I was like, we'll see. Surprise, surprise, the thing comes back in the mail. You've been accepted to the petroleum engineering department. And I was like,
Oh my God. How did you feel?
okay. It was so overwhelming. Like I remember feeling like extreme pride. And I guess it was more because my parents, like I could see the pride in my parents. And because we went through a lot of crap because of the moving. Like they had already their lifestyle. They're basically retired and, you know, living life as a dream. When we got here, somebody stole 75% of everything that dad brought.
Wow.
We lost the home that he bought here. It was tough. Like there was a time, and I will always remember this, and I always share this with my followers because that image that I have in my head is what keeps me going whenever I feel like, you know, I've touched rock bottom. And we had this little bit of band that we had to buy because the car that we bought, we had to give it back. And that makes mom check the bank accounts. And she's like, you know, check it so that we can see how much gas we can put on. And mom said, we have $5.
Oh.
And dad puts the $5 and he looks at us, like the 4 of us in the band, you know, just thinking like, what the hell are we going to do now? And dad looks at us and he tells us, cheer up. The good news is that from here, we can only go up.
Oh,
and that is like something that, you know, how my parents are now.
Yeah.
Luckily, my mom and my dad have worked their asses off to pull us back off. I mean, they not only are they retired, but they live how they should have lived.
Yeah.
You know, and I really think it's a reminder that whenever there's will, you can do anything you set your mind to. Because I mean, we went through some rough stuff, and this is from somebody that he had everything and then he had to pay for colleges because at some point all 4 of us were in school.
Wow.
And we couldn't even get scholarships even though we deserved them because we didn't have our residency yet. We were still on student visas. Most of the scholarships were for citizens and residents. So they were like, no. So my dad and my mom working, both of them, mom sometimes will pull 24-hour shifts in order to, you know, 2 Christmases, we didn't spend them with mom because she will just be working her butt off to, you know, to pay for college and all of this. So I just love that one thing that my dad has taught me is that there is no such thing as rock bottom, because once you're wherever you are, there's always a way up. And that's something that I always think. And I'm like, hey, if they could do it with no help at all, because they were just them too. We have our aunt here, but you know, it was just separate. It was just them too.
Yeah.
So he was like, as long as we have each other, that's all we need. And that's how it was. And that's how it's been. And that's what we always say with Carol. It's like, if them two can do what they did alone, us that we have their support, like we have an excuse to succeed in life. Like really, there is an excuse. We're just not pushing hard enough, I guess, or we're doing it just going slower. I don't know. But yeah, so that's how we got to the States. And now we're going to be 14 years here.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And then you graduated from A&M.
I did. So I graduated from A&M with a degree in petroleum engineering. That I still cannot believe it. My best friend ended up marrying my sister. So we both went for the same degree. And I started working, life was great. I was like, yay, I'm, this 23-year-old working in the oil and gas industry.
Living it up.
Sister and I got an
that's
apartment in
awesome.
River Oaks, and we were like, oh my gosh, we are killing it. Oil crash comes and I get let go.
Yep.
So I was like, cool, like, okay, so what now? So for a little while there, I was just trying to really find what I wanted to do. And as I said, like, I applied for petroleum engineering because mom thought like it would be interesting. To be honest, I never really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't something that I saw myself doing for 30 years. At the end of the day, I did it for the money, to be honest. I was like, okay, this gives you good money. That's it. So it was a little bit annoying that the career that I had studied to make money, I was no longer making it, because it was just like, I hated it. And there was no, not even like chance to work. Like, nobody was hiring. Like, it was just bad. So I guess it was like, and that's how I always think God lets the stuff happen for a reason. So it was like the little push that I needed in order to
kind of pivot.
Find out what I really wanted to do.
Yeah.
So for a little bit, I went into wedding planning, and we worked a little bit on that. And then for a little bit, I went even to work with my dad's company. That didn't work out either. For a little bit, I tried to do like handcrafts and whatnot. That didn't work either, until my sister had started her own YouTube channel. When was that? That was like 2014, 2013. And that's whenever we lived together. And I just loved seeing her, interact with these people through a camera. And I will see like how much she influenced and how much her sharing helped other people.
Yeah.
And I was like, that is awesome. Like, it's crazy that sharing a little bit of your life can help other people. And I started thinking, I was like, there's so many times that I go through life and I'm like, that has to be happening to only me. Like, it cannot be that I am the only one that, like, it has to be that I'm the only one. Like, nobody can have this bad luck, quote unquote, right? And Carol was like, why don't you start your own YouTube? And at this point, Carol was already popular enough that so many people kept asking me to open my own channel.
Yeah.
So they were like, Belu, you need to open your own channel. You have so much to share and whatnot. And my goal and why I started my blogging experience in YouTube was because I wanted people not to feel alone. Like, I was like, I'm going to share my story in hopes that if somebody sees me and is going through what I'm going, they know that there is more people like them. They know that they are not alone, and they know that it does get better.
Yeah. So you started building a community.
Exactly. So I just started it, not even thinking, about this becoming my livelihood. It was just something that I enjoyed doing. It was like a stress reliever. It was something that I enjoy, like I really enjoy doing. So that's how it all started. And then we just kept growing, and I kept building this bond with my audience and with my following base. They started getting to know more about me about them. And it just kind of sort of happened. And now I'm so glad that I was let go from that job that I didn't like, because even though I'm not even making as much as, or I don't know if I ever will, I'm so happy doing what I do. And I feel like that was the little push that I needed in order to find what it was really my call.
Yeah.
And I don't think I would have ever done it if I had kept my office job. It was just, it was a blessing in disguise, definitely. So that's how I started on YouTube and Instagram, and I guess in my social media
endeavors.
Journey.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So what was it like in the beginning, like starting the YouTube channel, and what did you do?
It was, so my stuff mostly is blogging, right? Like, I share my day-to-day lives and whatnot, life and stuff, and what I do, what I use, and all of this. But then I started sharing like little my experiences, and it was quite overwhelming in a good way to see how many people responded in a positive way. So many people felt the same way that I felt, like, oh, I was alone. I thought that it was just me, and it wasn't like that, Yeah. And they were like, and you have helped me realize that it's not the case, and you have helped me seeing that, if we're going through tough times, it does get better, and you have taught me to persevere. So it was quite amazing to see that support, and up to today, it's amazing for me to see that love and support from people that you don't even know.
Yeah.
It's people that know you just through a camera, and you can feel the love and the appreciation that they have towards you.
Yeah, I have seen like some of the comments of what people post on your, Instagram and even on YouTube. And I know like you're bigger, I think, on YouTube, right? And it's just like, but it's awesome. People care. They're there for you. And they're like in your corner. It's like you have like thousands, literal thousands of cheerleaders.
Yeah, I do. Definitely. So that's why, backstory. So yes, I met Cindy because of, I was planning my wedding and all of this. And I had a relationship that it was out of a fairy tale. Everybody told me this. I mean, even Cindy, she was like, you met your Prince Charming. And that's exactly how I felt. I felt like I had met the love of my life, the person that I was going to grow old with. And we had gone through, because we did long distance, as you know, for 3 years before he proposed and we got married.
God, I remember I used to like scroll down your Instagram and I was like, my God, like her life is so beautiful and like how blessed. And like, I actually remember like I scrolled down to the very bottom because I wanted to know when you guys met.
Yeah.
Like I wanted to know like your whole entire story,
Yeah.
And I remember even screenshotting it and sending it to you.
Yes,
and I'm like, oh my God, this is so cute.
Yeah. I mean, it was pretty perfect. I mean, it was perfect. And because it was perfect, I feel like it was not real. And long story short, whenever I got pregnant and 6 weeks after my baby was born, my now ex-husband decided to leave.
Yeah.
And I told Cindy, I was like, the hardest thing that I had to do was delete my wedding pictures. Like it was absolutely heartbreaking because it was the feeling, as I said, like before, for me, pictures, it's a feeling that you get to relive over and over again. And I will look at my wedding pictures like all the time because it was just the happiest day of my life. And going back and deleting those pictures, like I'm going to be completely honest. It took me 2 weeks to delete all those memories because it was just hard. And it was, it was perfect. It was just perfect until it just wasn't anymore. And everything happened so sudden. Like we had my baby and then all of a sudden he changed. And I really thought it was like postpartum depression and whatnot. And I tried to be supportive wife and whatnot. But then I found out he had been with somebody else and whatnot. So it was heartbreaking. It was extremely tough. But again, as I said, I do know that God makes everything happen for a reason. My baby girl. My God, because I really think to the day that if it wouldn't be because of her, to the day I will still probably be on a pit of depression. Because not only, I didn't just love that man, I adored him. Like I loved in a way that I never thought it was capable of loving another human being, to the point that I put myself on the back burner to make him happy. Yeah. It was crazy. So,
and I mean, like the story of how like you being pregnant or no, like having the newborn and still letting him go out. And like,
so
making sure that he was happy.
Exactly. So I was just telling Cindy that because he started changing. So like a couple of weeks before my baby was born, he told me I'm not happy anymore. And that was a shock to me. I mean, here I am about to pop and your husband tells you like, oh, I'm just not happy anymore. It's like, this is supposed to be the happiest time of our lives. Like, what's going on? So my thoughts was like, he's depressed. Like the shock and the stress of having a baby coming, it's gotten on him. So in my mind was like, I'm going to do whatever it takes to make sure that he is okay. I'll take care of myself later. He has to be fine so that he can, carry us. And, I was like 3-4 weeks postpartum whenever he texted me like at 7 at night. And he's just like, oh, I've had a rough week. So I'm going to go ahead and have some drinks with my friends. And I remember thinking like, gosh, like I just want to shower and eat.
Like, and if you're a new mom, you know what that means. Yes.
Like, can I please just take a bath? And I remember thinking like, okay, no, he needs my help. He needs me to be a good wife at this point. And I have the text message up to now that, I was just like, sure, babe, have fun. Like, I'll see you home whenever you get there. And obviously he wasn't with his friends. Now I know that. But it was always, him in front of me. I stopped doing much things that I loved to make him happy. And now I realize, and these are experiences that you sometimes have to go through, nobody is responsible of your happiness. Like the only person responsible of your happiness is you. Like, so I now know that was just an excuse to justify his cheating, his coward moments, his weakness. It was just his way of starting to find out without him feeling guilty, without him being the one that, oh, you know, it's my fault that I was weak. Nobody can make you happy besides yourself.
Yeah.
So if somebody comes and tells you I'm not happy, it's not your fault. And that's something that it took me a lot to realize. The fact that, you know, I'm happy because I want to be happy. If he wasn't happy, it had nothing to do with me. And that's how it is on everybody. Like if you see somebody being unhappy and they tell you it's because of you, BS. Every person is in charge of their own happiness.
Like yell it, BS.
Yeah, call it out. So all of this happened, and obviously I shut down all my social media because he was my life. I mean, I shared about him every single time, and you know, I will even make posts about just how lucky I was to have him, like just himself. You know, so many pictures that you took of just him, and I would just post them, and I would be like, this is my man. Holy cow.
It's insane, you guys. So I literally met this man and I know like exactly what, you know, you're talking about. Like I was just like, what the heck? You know, it was so insane because I remember, you know, everything. And I remember being like, telling my own husband, like, wow, look how great they are. And look how great, you know, he is. And like, I don't know. It was just so amazing.
And whenever we got married, as I said like before, like I think I derailed, but we went through so much during our long distance relationship that when I married him, I really thought, I was like, there's nothing we cannot push through. Like whatever comes our way, we're going to push through because we both have supported each other in distance. There is nothing we cannot do now that we are together. And even when he asked for my hand in marriage, he told my parents, he was like, I know that Belen and I are stronger together. And, you know, all of that was just words, obviously, now. And whenever I said this, it's like, guys, perfect does not exist. And that's another thing that I'm trying to share now, that my sister, my best friend, is her husband. And he shows himself as he is. Sometimes he snaps at her in front of us. Sometimes he gets annoyed. Sometimes he doesn't want to do what she says. And that's fine because that's a human being. A human being has emotions. A human being reacts to certain things. A human being has its own opinions. With my ex, you never saw that. You always saw him giving me the reason, always being patient, always being calm. But on the back, he will show his true self.
Wow.
And of course, I never told,
putting up the facade.
Exactly. And making everybody look like, oh, I'm this perfect man, when in reality it wasn't. So that saying that is like, that's too good to be truth. Yes.
Yeah.
Because I feel like because it was so perfect, it crumbled so easily as soon as somebody got in the middle, just because he got bored, I guess. I don't know whatever happened. But yeah, so I closed all my social media. I closed YouTube. I closed my old channel. I closed Instagram. I just wanted time to heal from a shattered and broken heart. I wanted to just be a good mom because my baby girl was 6 weeks old and she needed me. Like I felt like I had no time to heal. I had no time to cry. I had cried for 3 days straight to the point that my milk stopped producing. And that for me was the biggest shock. I was like, okay, my one job is to feed this girl and I'm not doing even that right. So pick up the pieces that's left and you do whatever it takes to be there for this baby girl. So I shut everything off for a while. It was probably 4 or 5 months. And then as soon as I opened back up and I was like, guys, I'm back. All of these amazing women and some guys were there.
Yeah.
You know, and not only were they there, but they were like, you got this. You are amazing. You are a great mom. You're a great human being. We're here for you. We support you. This is my story. This is how I came up. It was just such an overwhelming and warming support.
That's awesome.
Crazy to think that these people that I have no idea who they even are were in my corner, you know? And it's crazy because I feel like I love these people. Like I adore these human beings that I have never met. Yes, that I have never even met in my entire life. And some of the ones that come in often, I'm like, oh, hey, what's up? Like I already know you, you know? It's absolutely crazy and bananas how a little screen can bring you close to so many people that you don't even meet. And as you said, like it's a community that we have built now, that we support each other, that we talk to each other, that now they even tell me like, Belu, I'm going through this, I'm going through that. And we, as a community, we help each other because not only I comment, not only I share, so many other women are like, I've gone through the same, I'm going through this. this is how I came out on the other day, and this is how we are making ourselves stronger. So it's crazy. It's crazy how
impactful social media is. Yeah,
exactly. These days is just, it's quite amazing. So I feel extremely blessed and extremely grateful with all my following, because they turn into friends. They turn into people that I don't share just because to share. I share in hopes of making their days better, bringing a smile if they need to. And they have helped me the exact same way, because whenever I needed to feel like I was doing a good, because you, my sister, my mom, you're doing a great job, like you're doing fine. Like, you'll have to tell me this. You're my family, my friends. Like, why are you going to tell me, no, you suck at this? Like, no. So, but to hear it from other people, it warms your heart. It makes you think like, okay, I am doing something right. Like, if it's tangible through a screen, then that means that I am doing something right. Like, I always tell them, the biggest compliment that I get is whenever they tell me, you're doing such a great job with Alice. And that is like, okay, whatever I do, the not showering, the not doing anything during the day, it's worth it, because you can see that my baby girl is growing healthy, happy, and that she needs absolutely nothing more than what she has right now. So it's just encouraging words. And that's why whenever they share with me, I also tell them, like, this is why you are inspiring me. This is what I'm getting to know from what you are telling me right now. And we just try to support each other. It's a two-way street, really. And I love to be able, and I feel extremely happy to have this platform to share the fact that, it does get better, even though whenever it feels like the world is crumbling. But yeah, it's been great. It's something that I really love.
And I think you do an incredible job of nurturing that community. Yeah. It's not just like, let me just share everything about my life and you guys better like it. You know what I mean? It's very much like, I'm going to, be here for you guys too.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And they know that. I mean, there is a section in my channel where we just share experiences about each other and we talk about it. I give them my opinion. All the people that are there share their opinion. And that's how we're connected. As I tell them all the time, we become friends. We get to know about each other. We listen to each other, because that's another thing. I mean, not because you don't agree with me, I'm going to block you, delete you, and forget you about my life. No, like, I respect your opinion. I listened. I agree to disagree most of the times, or not so often, but that's what we're here for, to listen to each other, to talk, to reply, to interact. So it's social media for a reason. Like, it's social, like it's gotta be both ways. So
you take time to engage with them. Like,
yes, definitely. So I make sure that I reply my comments on, if not
with a bunch of hearts.
I try so much, because the other day I tried to reply. It takes so much time. And try doing that with a 1-year-old on top of you, wanting you to make all the animal sounds in the world. So I try on Instagram. I'm probably not as good as I should be, but on YouTube, I usually try to reply, especially if they're asking me for a question or asking me for advice. Like, I'm always
asking you for a question.
Exactly. Like, I'm like, okay, this is how it's done, and this is what I think or what not. I try to go through my messages on Instagram, but there are just so many. One night I was like, I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna finish this. Oh my gosh, my fingers hurt, and I was like, I'm not done. I'm like, when am I gonna? And I'm not even that big on Instagram, so I imagine the people that
she has like 20,000 followers.
Yeah, I mean, but then again, like, it's 100 people, 140. Like, how do you handle that? But yeah, so I try to interact as much as I can. I used to do lives way more often. Again, with Alice, it has gotten a little bit more complicated, but I try to do it as much as I can. You already know, you can tell on social media what is it that your audience likes to see. So give them more of that. Give them more of whatever it is that they are actually enjoying seeing in your feeds, whatever they are getting something from. Yeah. I try to post once daily. That happens sometimes it doesn't, but definitely being active helps a lot.
What do you mean by being active?
Like posting.
Okay.
Post one, like, don't leave them forgotten. Like, don't post like once every month.
That's me. That's what I do. Do you know?
Yeah. Well, I notice I miss you whenever you post something. Oh my God, see this back. But but then again, whenever you do post, it's like, okay, well, comment, interact. But I do, and they have told me, like, lately on YouTube, I've been so active. I'm loving it, because it took me a little while to get used to Alice and the schedule and whatnot. And for like 2 months now, I've been posting a video daily. It's a lot of work. so much work because it's not like I told them one day, it's not just the recording. Like I don't just record myself and boom, there it goes. No, it's the editing, it's the uploading, it's the creating a thumbnail, it's the making sure that, it's all nice and pretty for them to see. It's work.
Yeah.
But I love to do it. And since I've been doing it, I got so many messages. Belen, I love how active you're on YouTube. I'm loving these videos. I love that now I don't have to wait a week to see what's going on with your life. So, the being there all the time, I feel like makes them feel like they're interacting with you that much more.
Yeah.
And they really like it. So
Yeah.
I love to, whatever they do me, like they tell me like, oh, I like this about that. I'm like, there you go. More of this. So be vocal about what is it that they like to see. Like for a photographer, what is it that you like to see? Candidates. Would you like to see more documentary? Would you like to see my day to day? Or what kind of style would you like to see? People reply. And now we have these amazing tools like polls and questions and all of these that you can actually get direct input from your following base.
And that's on the stories, right?
Exactly. Like lives. It's crazy how many people actually do watch your lives and and they get there just to see you live.
Do you remember what your first live was?
I think it was I did it on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
And it was to announce Alice's name, I think.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. And it was me, Carol, Mom, and Katie. And we were like, we're going to announce the name of the fifth little girl of the clan. And so many people got in and they were like, yeah. And that's another thing. Like they have been there for everything. They become part of your life, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like that with everybody that I follow, like I'm sure that they feel like that because I feel that way. Like there's one of my favorite bloggers. She just gave birth to her little girl. And every time that she posts a story, like, oh, let me see if she's there, you know? And I don't know this woman, like she doesn't know me, but I'm excited for her. She's a new mom and it's like, oh, I want to see and I want to be there. So it's just nice, to have a prospect and to have a view to so many lives, different lifestyles, different backgrounds, different opinions and everything just
at your
through
fingertips.
the screen. Yeah, exactly. At your fingertips.
So do you use like a social media scheduler or anything like that? Or do you just kind of do what is going on that day?
Correct. So whatever happens that day, like for example, yesterday I didn't post anything because I just took the day off to be with Alice. I was very nostalgic about her turning 1. So I was like, no, I'm going to hold her. She's going to be mine today and I'm going to play with her. So yesterday I didn't post anything. But whenever I see something going on, like, okay, yes, I share about my life and stuff, but now I've been sharing with them. They love what I wear. They love what Alice wears. So if I see that it's on sale or anything, it's like, guys, go find this. So I find a way to, snap that or whatnot. So as it goes, I try to make it often as I said, but if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. And that's fine, as long as.
I think that's hard. I think for me personally, I constantly am like, oh my God, I haven't posted. I haven't posted. And granted, I literally haven't posted like in a month.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so I know that I could definitely be posting more.
Yeah.
But I definitely have that. I don't know if you ever have that.
Yeah.
Where you're like, oh, I need to post. I need to post.
Not really, because I feel like the posting is more on Instagram, and there I do have my pretty pictures and my pretty moments there, but I feel like where I interact the more is definitely YouTube. But I love to share with them, nice ideas. Like somebody was just asking me, they're like, oh my God, that place is so nice. Where did you go?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, here I am, So that idea is definitely nice, but I don't think I stress myself too much to post on Instagram as I do on YouTube. Maybe because my following is larger in YouTube and I feel like I
like you need to have that vlog.
Exactly. Like I need to tell them, but it's still on Instagram. If it's not a post, at least I try to be on my stories or tell them, hey guys, this is what's going on. This is why I've been MIA or whatnot. Yeah. So as long as they know that you're there and that you're thinking about them, I don't think it has to be a post. Like it can be just a story. Just tell them, hey, thinking about you guys. I'm here. I'm just doing this and that. But I got you.
Belen just had an awesome birthday party for Ali. Okay, you guys, incredible, right? Well, yeah, it was a bit hot because we're in Texas.
Yeah.
When is it not hot?
Yeah.
But I thought it was interesting how Carol and Belen found their vendors.
Yes.
And I just wanted to kind of touch on that. Just like it's crazy how much people use Instagram. It's
definitely.
You know what I mean?
And it was all with hashtags. Like the only hashtag we found was birthday party. Like,
are you serious? So you just went in there, you're like, birthday party.
Just birthday party, boom. And then we started looking for, I want this, I want that, what is this, what is that? So hashtags are crazy powerful because that's literally everything we did. And we found so much stuff that we didn't know even existed. like the letters, you know, the
Yeah.
little sweets card that we had. And we really had no idea like that's even like a trend going on now. Obviously now that we follow them, we're like, oh my gosh, they have a lot of business. So, but yeah, all we did was type birthday party, and then we went from there, getting inspiration and whatnot. So definitely, you know, wedding pictures, but portraits, light and airy, whatever it is, like it does help get your work out there. So yeah.
Right.
And that even helps with my stuff too. Like I've gotten so many followers, especially whenever I post about sales. Obviously, who doesn't like a good sale? But every time I use the hashtag with like sales, I see that I get way more followers, which again, it's just a hashtag. It's a great filter system there to target you towards the audience that you're looking for.
So is there any advice that you'd give somebody that is pivoting from Instagram over to YouTube?
It is a little bit different. Definitely, it's a lot more work, I feel like, because, you know, a picture is just a nice picture, nice edit, boom. YouTube, I feel like it's a lot more editing, a lot more. And I feel like it takes a lot more time also to grow. So the only advice that I will have is be patient and be constant. It will get there. Like just because you don't see that it's growing as much as you wish, it doesn't mean that it's not growing. Because in YouTube, you also have to realize that you have a lot of people that may be seeing your videos, but they're not necessarily subscribing.
Yeah.
So, and you know, people notice a growth of a channel by how many subscribers they have, which may not be the case because a channel may have 1,000 subscribers, but a video has 20,000 views. That doesn't mean that the channel is small or not. You know, it just means that people are not necessarily subscribing to it, which is not a bad thing, but I mean, it's not a good thing, but it's not bad either. Like it's just there. And just be constant, because the more you post, the most you show that you are there, the more people are going to come towards you. Like YouTube has a very good algorithm. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that
algorithm.
Right. There you go. What Cindy said of, you know, pushing stuff, pushing new videos, pushing information that you think you would like. It's so
How
fun.
do you do that? Or they do it for you?
They do it for you. So whenever you upload a video, it says add tags. And in those tags is like a hashtag.
Yeah.
So whatever you're posting, make sure that you like, for me, like the hashtag that the tags that I use is daily vlogs, first time mom, Houston mom of a girl, like little things like that. Like whatever comes to you, like you just post, or whatever it's, I blog that day. Like if I did a recipe, easy recipe, 5-ingredient recipe, dinner for 2.
Yeah.
You know, like whatever you think, whatever, put yourself.
Your niche. Yeah.
Exactly. Put yourself on the mind of the searcher. Like if you were to want to find the video that you just published, what will you type on the search bar? You know, so whatever you as a person will look for, that's what you have to put in the tags.
Yeah.
So that people that, you know, I mean,
are searching for you. Yeah.
They find you. So yeah, I mean.
So using those tags on YouTube.
On YouTube, it also, tags are everything. I mean, that's how they find you, right? It's the Google of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So YouTube, I think, is the second largest search engine now behind Google.
I'm
correct?
pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure, because I mean, ourselves, like yesterday, my phone broke and I didn't know how to import my contacts. So I literally went on Google and I typed how to import your contacts from iCloud, and then a video popped and I was like, I'm going to the video because I don't want to read to what I want to do when I can just see it, you know? So yeah, I believe it that you do. And everything is like the balloons that we did for Alice, how to do video garland. So, you know, anything and everything can be found there. So I'm sure that it's the next Google for sure.
All right.
Yay.
Yeah. So any other tips that you want to share with our followers?
I feel like that will be it. I'm so thank you for having me here. This is my first time on a podcast with somebody else. I have my own, but I don't do it like one-on-one. So this was way more fun.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, definitely.
You should just have Alice on the second one or on your next podcast.
Yeah. I actually want to do one with mom. So many people have asked me about.
I thought you were going to say you actually want to do one with Alice.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. Probably eventually.
She'd say, otra.
It will be nice to have her input of things. That will be interesting.
Yeah.
Once she starts talking and, you know, making all those little things. But we shall see. But yeah, I mean, this is a great way. I love what you're doing. It's really fun and I'm flowy, excited. You know, like it's nothing pushed or script or anything, which is what I love. Yeah, it's just like two friends having coffee, yummy croissant that I finished it before the podcast. But yeah, so yeah, and yeah, I mean, there's always videos and everything of people that have probably way more experience than I do. Just educate yourself also on on the area that you're in, because there is always better and more ways of doing one thing. Don't just settle for, oh, I'm posting this and this is what I'm doing. And no,
yeah,
like,
it's ever changing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So educate yourself, listen to podcasts, watch videos. Like, you know, in my case, something that I was not doing great that I'm glad that I'm doing now. I'm a vlogger and I was not watching YouTube blogs.
You weren't?
No. And I was just like, what am I doing? Like, you know, like I have to watch this. Like, this is the industry that I'm on. And I started getting to know like amazing vloggers too. And it's like, okay, well, cool. Like she does this. Maybe I can improve this and I can do that, you know? So educate yourself in the area that you're in, because there's always something new to learn.
Yeah, no, I love that you say that. I actually live by that. I love learning from other people.
Yeah,
I don't necessarily ever go to YouTube. I don't know why. Like I know a lot of people do. I literally go straight to the person and I'm just like, hey, how did you learn this?
Exactly.
You know, and can you share? You know, and I mean, some people may say like, hey, why do you want to know what I'm doing?
Yeah.
But the thing is, I love when I meet somebody who's like super open and it's just like, oh yeah, let me just walk you through what I did because it's incredible, you know, and that's really what I want to do with this podcast is I want to make sure that, you know, people who are starting in photography, like they have some access to some knowledge, you know what I mean? And it's just like, how did you market? How did you start? Like, what did you do in the beginning? That's really what I want, you know, to share with this.
That's awesome.
You know?
And that's another thing that I always tell them. Like, if there was room for me, there is room for you. Like, why do we have to be so like, no, mine, deliver? It's like, no, like we are here all to work together. Like there is plenty room for everybody. So if what I did, if I can help you by going through my mistakes and avoid you the pain, shoot, I'm here for it. So what you say is true. You're gonna find people that are like, no, like this is just for me. Okay, fine, then move on. There will be somebody who's willing to help you. So just keep looking, keep knocking doors. Yeah, because that's the only way to learn.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for listening. And thank you, Belen, for joining us today.
Of course.
This was awesome.
Yes,
yeah. And then, so where can they find you?
Oh, yeah. So my YouTube is only in Spanish. Sorry about that.
Oh, by the way.
Yeah, by the way.
ESL.
Seriously. Somebody has to take the ESL classes that I didn't take. But no, yeah, it's only in Spanish. I wanted to make it like, you know, I feel like I still have so much restraint on myself in English. Like I feel like I just flow a little bit better in Spanish. So it's only in Spanish, but if you speak Spanish, welcome. It's Belu del Toro, Belu del Toro. And yeah, you can just find me there. And then on my Instagram, Belu, Belu.del Toro.
That one's in English and in Spanish.
Yes, that one I post in English and Spanish daily. That one I'm always there. If I don't post a picture, I'm always in the stories. My baby girl, which is most of my posts. 99% of my posts are her.
Yeah, I love it. So, we love Alice.
Yes. So yeah.
All right. Well, thank you.
Guys. No, thank you guys.